Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Paul.
The reason why we all were devastated about Paul Walker is because he's the nicest dude on human feet.
Happy birthday to you. Make a wish.
Paul had real relationships with everybody. You felt his love, you felt his spirit, you felt his energy, you felt the morale, the camaraderie, the inclusion.
Birthday boy, look this way. Paul, look this way.
He was somebody that cared, and he was somebody that really was experiencing life and on the daily trying to experience it to the fullest.
Never back down mindset, you know, go big or go home.
He's just a kid from Sunland, Hunga, you know, the gun-toting hippie, balance of opposites, you know, a lover and a fighter.
He got in a lot of fights when he was younger. Didn't lose very many fights.
He would have been a great fireman. He likes to grind. He's not afraid to get dirty. Talks a lot of trash. He just fits in.
I just thought he was the coolest guy in the world and had nothing to do with the movies. Nothing.
Here's a guy who's getting phone calls left and right from creditors, and right in the middle of that, he's like, dude, I'm gonna be a dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Paul Walker. Oh, dude, ladies, flip out.
When you meet this dude, you felt like he jumped out of a magazine. You know what I mean? It was like, that's who he was.
The cinema didn't capture it all, couldn't capture it all.
Paul was always an actor who had one foot in and one foot out. He would just disappear.
When Paul wasn't making movies, he wasn't in LA, he wasn't even in the country. He would be like in the Amazon, or he'd be like diving with sharks.
Hey, we got him hooked good! Each time he appeared in a Shark Week episode, he donated to my nonprofit. He didn't even tell me.
He did take care of people to the point where he wasn't looking after himself.
He pretty much made a decision that he was gonna back away from Hollywood.
He's like, time? I don't have time. I don't get time. You know, I got money, I don't got time.
He really liked the cars, and on those movies, he got into it. He could tell you what size turbos the cars had or what they should do different to make them better, and the other actors don't even know how to drive a manual transmission car. He did his homework like nobody else.
I always believed the subject matter had a chance to be successful, but when I walked out of that screening, I knew he was a movie star.
I'm enjoying it. I have a blast. I love my job. I get to travel. Gosh, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, this has really been going on for me now, like maybe like 6 years. I think Pleasantville I did like 6 years ago.
Please welcome Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, boys.
You know, I don't ever want it to end.
To be young, handsome, making all that money, the token Negro and the token white man in Miami, it was hard to get a lot of work done out there, you know? My God.
I don't know, we just got along really well. The only problem really was, though, is like, we got along so well that we were screwing around more than half the time.
While you're supposed to be working?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we got, you know, John Singleton barking at us every once in a while, telling us to get serious.
Not when I did a big car jump over a drawbridge. Yeah, and a little Nissan Skyline with no suspension, so it was a hard landing. He would ask me how big the hits were and how much it really hurt, or how, you know what I mean? He was so curious on that part of it.
Paul Walker was like born for this role. It was crazy. You know, I feel like we're like actors that was in Paul's movie, because everything that's tied into cars and adrenaline, it was Paul's world. Some dudes wear they handsome and they become arrogant with it and they're unapproachable. As a man, he wasn't intimidating because he was so regular and so grounded and so cool. He was the guy that every woman wanted to be with and every man wanted to be like.
I think after Fast and Furious 1, he became much more hypersensitive to what he wanted to do.
He didn't want to live in Hollywood. Whenever he wasn't working, he would be off somewhere on a boat or hiding under a tree or doing whatever he was doing.
He'd always say, like, I wanted to be a park ranger, you know, make 28 grand a year and, like, live in the wilderness. Like, that's really what he wanted to do.
Paul looked around hard where he wanted to settle down because he was very nomadic. Santa Barbara's a special place.
Most of my time is spent, you know, Santa Barbara North. As I've grown older, I appreciate more where it's more lush and more green. There's nowhere else like it on Earth. It's unique.
Paul, when he got the place up in Santa Barbara, he was so excited. It was the first time I'd seen him buy something where he was like, you know, really, like, I worked and I got this.
It was really hard to get to. It was a seasonal road with dirt that you had to go up. You had a place where you could go up there and hide, not take a shower for 3 or 4 days or 5 days and run around, get muddy and plant trees and shoot and, you know, just do guy shit, you know?
Oh, I thought I was going for sure.
It was his playground. He was a big kid. He was a big kid.
Paul liked to race cars. Not street racing, but really race cars on tracks.
Our common interest was cars. Cars brought us together. He walked it over to me, go, hey, are you the guy who just bought my GT3? Then, yeah, I told him that I'm the guy, and I also told him that, you know, a man should never sell his GT3 in his life. And from that moment and on, we become close friends. He loves things that's fast, always evolving. Paul built that along with Roger. They put together a team, and he started hanging around more and more with professional drivers. And he started really learning a lot of great skills with cars. He went from a movie character to really become a race car driver. A lot of respect for that.
He truly loved the Nissan Skyline and those kind of cars more than muscle cars. He liked the technical part and the better brakes and all the stuff. But then really what he drove in his everyday life was a Tacoma truck. He wanted somebody to ding him, and he'd be like, oh, don't worry about it, and they'd just be shocked.
If he was here right now and, you know, had something cool parked outside and you made a comment about how cool his car is, he would literally throw the keys at you and say, just, cool, go have fun. It didn't matter, like, when he didn't have anything at all and then when he had everything. Like, nothing about him changed.
Paul had the passage from George Bernard Shaw that said, you know, I want to be all used up. You know, I'm not just some flickering candle, I'm going to be a torch. And when I'm done, I want to be thrown completely used on the trash heap of life. And I can actually say he did a lot of things that made a lot of difference in a lot of people's lives, you know? He was a giver.
What is success to you?
Success is balance in life. That's the most difficult thing to find.
Every single person in my family, every single person that calls Paul a friend has been told by Paul from his mouth, this is the last one. Oh, this is the last one. This is the last one and I'm done. Heard that forever, but he couldn't walk away. He couldn't quite walk away yet in his mind. And that's one thing that's like so killer. It sucks so bad about, you know, he never got to really enjoy like just watching his daughter grow up and enjoy everything he had worked so hard for. He was finally starting to really kind of put that together and like, and then he just got cut short.